already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live.
Right now.
Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul Sporting with the talk. First lady from New York,
Brooklyn.
All my people, you rocking with the chat.
Hit that.
The like button would tell me where you at. You know, Step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Salute, Knick family. Welcome to the channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk, Dope Soul Knicks Talk, a member of the MBK family. The Knicks dropped 5 games in a row last night, and San Antonio 115 to 122. We'll get into it. I'm not going to even give you any takes right now in the intro. Salute to everybody joining me this morning, those that's going to be watching later. I appreciate you. Happy New Year. Stay safe. Special shout out to Angel Torres, Tim Smith, Deron Wayne, Cool Cal G, and Ally Wise, who are in the building already. Sean Kearns as well. It's kind of difficult when the Knicks lose for some people to show up to these recap shows. And sometimes it's hard for the host, to even do a show. But I was actually ready to do this one this morning. So let's get right into it. I have a lot to say, so I'm going to breeze through these first few slides so I can get into it. The Knicks came into this game 18-17, one game over 500, still 6th in the Eastern Conference, despite the fact that they lost 4 straight games, 6-4 over their last 10. San Antonio 14th in the Western Conference, 11 of 23 overall on the season. Over their last 10, they were 4-6, and coming into the game, they had lost 1. The Knicks started, well, let me just say this first. Brunson, RJ Barrett was out, and Obi Toppin remained out. So the Knicks started Emmanuel Quickley, Miles McBride, Quentin Grimes at the 3, Randle and Robinson. For San Antonio, it was Trey Jones, Romeo Langford, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, Jacob Portal, and Devin Vassell was out. I kind of want to move things around just a little bit because I just feel like I can't even wait to get certain things, off my chest this morning. So I'm gonna go right to my observations, and then we'll get back into individual stats and what have you. The bottom line is the Knicks started this game terribly, lethargic. Now, I don't know if that was, being physically and emotionally spent from the Dallas game. It's not like it was a back-to-back and maybe not having enough time in between to recover, but the Knicks started off slow. They gave up 38 first quarter points, right? The largest lead the Knicks had in this game was 5, and that was in the first quarter. From the end of the first quarter to the end of the game, the Knicks never led in this game. Now, they made a valiant effort in the fourth quarter to try to get back into the game. But by that time, in my opinion, and Julius Randle said as much in the presser as well, they had confidence by that time. They was feeling like, we can hang with them. Look what we've been doing, all game. And kudos to them. Usually with a young team in the fourth quarter, they're not able to hold on to a lead, right? The Knicks was never able to get back into this game. I'll talk about that a little bit. Well, I'll talk about it now. The Knicks were not able to get back into the game, and there were, in some opinion, some busters. When you're down, you're trying to get back into a game, you pretty much have to be near perfect. I think the Knicks were down by as many as 16, 17 points. They were outscored in every quarter except the fourth quarter, where they outscored San Antonio 36-30, right? So you're trying to get back into the game. you pretty much have to be perfect. And there was a few, what I'm going to call momentum busters. One of them was Grimes going in for the dunk on a fast break and the official not calling a foul. I'm not blaming the official. I'm just saying that was a momentum buster. You scoring some baskets in a row. You're about to, there was, I don't know if it was off a rebound or what it was. You're on the fast break. You're about to slam it, give the team a little more energy and momentum. There's a block shot, no foul call. Right? Fournier. I love the fact that Fournier played. He had 11 points in 17 minutes. He gets a rebound, falling out of bounds, throws it to San Antonio. They score. Momentum buster. Right? Randle misses a free throw. He runs to tie up the San Antonio player who has the rebound. They said Randle pushed him out of bounds. I disagree. I didn't see him push him out of bounds. Momentum buster. Right? Now, let alone San Antonio hitting shots. Right? That was one momentum busters as well. Right? Every time the Knicks made a run, San Antonio was able to answer and score. And part of that was because New York's defense was not up to par. We'll talk about it more when we get into the team stats. I believe the Knicks had 46 points in the paint. I believe they had like 62. Right? Usually the Knicks are pretty good points in the paint. Usually they outscore the other team. But you don't have Brunson, who gets a lot of his shots in the paint. You don't have RJ Barrett, who gets a lot of his shots in the paint. So I get it. You're not getting as many points in the paint as you used to. However, you're giving up 62. That points to your perimeter defense. That points to the fact that you're allowing them to get into the key and they're hitting their shots. They have confidence now. So in the fourth quarter, they're getting in there. Romeo Langford, I don't know how many points. We'll get back to the individual stats. Showed up big for them. Just a tough game for the Knicks. Like I said, you have to be perfect. Coming into the game, when you think about it, you're down 2 of your top 3 players. So what does that tell you? We're probably going to have a hard time scoring in this game. They had 115, though. But coming in, you're thinking, we're probably going to have a hard time scoring. 2 of our top 3 scorers are out. Maybe Grimes steps up. Maybe IQ steps up. But in terms of what we know, we're without our top 2 players. So that should tell you from the jump, from the rip, your defense has to be on point because you're not sure where your offense is coming from. And the Knicks come out in that first quarter a step slow, maybe even 2 steps slow. They just did not look sharp. Now, it's a valid point if you want to point to the fact that they've been logging a lot of minutes. That's valid. They're coming off an overtime game in which, they lost the lead in a 9-point lead in 33 seconds. And maybe emotionally they were spent and they just weren't able to rebound. I guess that's a valid point, I guess. As the game went on, the third quarter, they started to look a little more alive. In the fourth quarter, they looked on point. But again, at that point, things have to basically be perfect. And there was some momentum busters, and San Antonio had confidence by that time, and they hit shots. The last thing I want to talk about before I get to the chat and then reverse it, and get back to the individual stats and things like that was Randle played extremely well in that game. I just want to move to his stats. Like I said, I'm skipping around a little bit. He played 43 minutes, 41 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, shot 51.9% from the field, 46.2% from 3, struggled at the line, 63.6%, and did have 4 turnovers. But I thought Randle was a monster in this game, and he kept us in the game. Without RJ Barrett, without Brunson, we have absolutely no shot without Randle. And I thought he stayed aggressive throughout the game. He took great shots throughout the game. I'm just really digging his recognition, his shot recognition of the mismatch, the mismatch, and just taking advantage of it, not bailing the team out with bad shots, going to the basket, just really, really taking good shots, and he was aggressive throughout. I thought in the Dallas game down the stretch, he didn't demand the ball as much, or I'll put it another way. I would have liked to have seen him take more shots down the stretch in that fourth quarter and in that overtime game. But in this game, it was him. It was him throughout, and IQ, in IQ as well. So I thought Randle played well. And, I'm just going to mention this. I'm going to troll the fans a little bit. When Randle don't pick somebody up, when his body language is bad, is all over Twitter, right? But now, he's encouraging the team coming into timeouts. A few games ago, he was on the foul line. The horn blew. Miles McBride was coming in. He went, he greeted him, like, come on, we need you. Doing all those little things that to me is not really a big deal. But for all of those who was pointing out the times when he didn't do that, let's give the same energy, to what he's doing now in terms of encouraging his teammates. I really like the way Randle is playing. I think he's been great offensively all season, but I think his defense has taken a major step forward. Is it perfect? No. Is it 100%? No, but much better than it was. I really love the way he's playing right now. And that's why I still feel the Knicks are in it. I still feel that. I still feel the way RJ Barrett has been playing of late, the way Brunson has been playing. When the team is healthy, I still feel the Knicks will be right there for a playoff spot, right? But anyway, let me get into the chat. Angel Torres, appreciate you. Salute Queen, another L against a G League team with lack of effort. Definitely lack of effort in that first quarter for whatever the reason was. But this is what I'll say. Once you take Brunson and RJ off the team, how much better are you than San Antonio if you're not playing very well? Like, do you really think that you could just take RJ Barrett off a team, take Brunson off a team, your top two scorers, your top two of your top three players on the team, and you're just going to go into San Antonio and win because they're in 14th or 15th place in the conference? It just doesn't work like that. On any given night, you can lose, especially when you're down two guys and you don't really have a lot of bench scoring, right? We got good defense coming off the bench. We don't have a lot of offense coming off the bench. Thank goodness for IQ, and we'll get into him as well. Tim Smith, salute all. Losing because we're young doesn't bother me. Losing because we play flat does. Yeah, I agree. It's sad, but D Rose looks done too. Yeah, I have to agree with that. I would have to agree with that. Salute Cool Cal G. Now, I don't know with Rose if it's age, if it's injury, if it's he's not been playing consistently, so he can't really get into a flow. I'm not sure what it is, but he definitely doesn't look sharp at all. Good morning, Ashley Inc. One West Coast, Sean Kearns. Salute Troy Van Toll. I hope I got that right. Thank you for loving the show. I appreciate you being here. Pudge Nice. I saw you on Knicks and Bruce's Queen. You are hilarious. Was that the Tiger Nut conversation? Good morning, JM3 000. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Salute to Paris Duggar. Bottom line, sometimes teams play better than you. You absolutely right, Paris. You absolutely right. Parish, I mean. San Antonio played better than the Knicks. They outscored the Knicks in every quarter except for that fourth quarter. Knicks will be 2026 NBA champs. I thought the Knicks would win, but I was wrong. I thought it was going to be a tough game. I don't know if it was Knicks and Bruises, wherever we were talking about it, and it was like, well, the Knicks should blow this team out. I was like, look, just get a win. You're down 2. If you can eke out a win any type of way, just do it. Lynn to Lynn, good morning. Knicks aren't as good as they look during their 8-game winning streak or as bad as their losing streak, but they are what their record says. They are basically a 500 team. And many of us, including myself, thought they would be around 500. I know when we did the MBK pregame show, I had them at 40 wins. Then I revised it and I said, maybe 41, 42. And then I said, 41, 42. However, if certain things fall into place, I can see 45, 46 wins. But at the same time, if the bottom falls out, I could see the Knicks falling really out of the play-in. And I think it's the same thing. 500 is the base, and they can go up or down based on a few factors. JJ, salute. Steph, I love Grimes, but he didn't have it on either end last night. Not a fan of him at the 3. Yeah, no doubt about it. With Grimes, I think with young players, I don't know if you can expect that they're going to be consistent every game, right? They're going to be up and down. This is his second year in the league. Personally, I prefer knowing I'm going to get 12 points from a guy every night than knowing that I'm going to get 20 one night and I might get 4 the next. But he's a young guy. So I don't think he's going to be inconsistent, right? But, what I'm hoping is that he doesn't become a quickly where you think he's a good shooter because he has nice form. But when you look at the numbers, they don't really say so, right? I think it's too early to say that yet. His form is good. He takes, good shots. I'm not sure what he's shooting from 3, but it doesn't look like he's knocking them down consistently. Right now, I'm just chalking it up to that this is his second year in the league. This is his first year starting, his first year playing these types of minutes. That's what I'm chalking it up to for Grimes. But on the defensive end, I definitely agree with you. He gives up too many inches. He's strong. His feet is quick. He, for the most part, he can keep guys in front of him, but they can shoot over the top. He's 6'4". If you want to say he's 6'5", who was he playing? Keldon Johnson? You can't bother. You can't bother the shot at all. Pudge Nice, I got losing tomorrow against the Rockets. I hope not. I think they've lost 3 games. So somebody's losing streak is going to break Saturday, either the Knicks or Houston. But they're young, they're hungry, they're quick. To me, I think at this point it's mental for them. Well, I think it's more than mental. Obviously, you're without Brunson, you're without Barrett, you're down manpower. But there's a mental aspect to it as well. Trayvon Tool, hope I got that right. I don't think the coach knows how to use his bench in this kind of situation with players out with injury. I mean, I would have liked to have seen Cam. I'm glad we saw Fournier. I've been saying this for a while. Extend the rotation. All right, you had to do what you had to do back when the Knicks was just floundering. The Knicks went on an 8-game win streak. They're floundering again, maybe for different reasons, right? Maybe expand the rotation a little bit. I would like to see Fournier back in the rotation. He had 11 points in 17 minutes. It's just a 1-game sample, but part of the reason he was pulled out of the rotation was his defense, plus the fact that offensively, he was just not hitting shots and really looked out of sorts, right? So he wasn't a net positive. Right now, I just feel like with the minutes these guys have been logging, I think we need to put Fournier. If you're not going to play Cam, put Fournier back in the rotation. And I know people talk about his defense, but I'm going to say the same thing. He started every game on a team with the 11th ranked defense. So if the other guys are playing defense good enough, you can hide one player, right? Now, I don't think his defense is even the worst in that starting lineup. He's hustling. He's getting off the screens. He's just not laterally quick. I just don't think that's a reason to cut bait with him for the entire season. In my opinion. Paris Duggar, Grimes' legs were shot from the Dallas game. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't the only one that was shot. I'll tell you, I'll tell you that. I thought Mitch also had a tough game. Keith Turner, Randle has grown up a lot. I don't care what anybody says. He's the only one behind besides Brunson that shows any pit bull in him. I definitely agree. Especially of late. You could see he wants to win these games. Salute Wonder Woman. Hope all is well. Grimes is a 2. He shouldn't be playing a 3, too small. I mean, I agree with you. And McBride is short too, playing the 2, But I guess defensively you can put Grimes at the 1 and quickly at the 2 on defense. I just think, and I'll say this together with Keith Turner, McBride had his time to shine, and what did he do? Wet the bed. I just think you can't really count on these first and second year guys to be consistent. You just can't. If they do come out like Grimes came out the last game and had a huge game for us, you applaud it. But when they don't play too well, can you really get on them at this point in their development? I'm not so sure. All right, let me go back. I needed to get that off my chest. We talked about Randle, 41 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 6 3-pointers. I'll return to the chat after this. Quickly, 36 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 3-pointers, 1 turnover. I thought Quickly played very well tonight. I love the shots he took. Other than 2 or 3 possessions where I thought he may have over dribbled, other than that, I thought he was great tonight. We needed another scorer. Other than Randle, where was the scoring going to come from? I don't know if you can count on Grimes to be that at this point in his development. And what happened? Quickly comes and basically balls out with 36 points. Let me see if I have his splits here. He shot 44.4% overall, 41.7% from the 3-point line, and 87.5% from the 3-point line. Now, him and Randle played a lot of minutes. I thought the other guys' minutes were down, but Randle played 43 minutes. IQ also played 43 minutes. But in a game like this, what's your alternative? Not only are you down, two of your other top scorers, you're down in the game. And you're trying to get back in the game. So those 2 guys have it rolling. You can't just take them out. The league can balloon more than it already did. Because remember, the Knicks would get it to 9. It'll go back to 11. It'll go back to 14. It'll go back. I think the biggest lead for San Antonio was 16 or 17. So I'm not going to complain about the minutes for Randle and Quickly. In a game like this, I don't know what the alternative was, especially when, and we'll get into Grimes and McBride, who had 9 points, when the other guys wasn't shooting well. Grimes, as somebody mentioned in the chat, 1 for 10 from the field, 1 for 6 for the 3-point line. McBride, 3 for 8 from the field. He did hit 2 of his 4 3-pointers. And I'm not banging on Grimes and McBride. I'm just pointing out that they weren't shooting well. What alternatives do you have but to play Randle and Quickly those minutes? McBride played 31 minutes. Mitchell Robinson. So the minutes came down from the last game. McBride, 31 minutes. Mitchell Robinson, 28 minutes. Rose, 16 minutes. Ihart, 15 minutes. Sims, 10 minutes. Right? Fournier, 11 points, 2 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 3-pointer. I was really, like I said before, really happy to see him out there. I hope he's back in the rotation, even when Brunson and Barrett returns. I hope he's back in the rotation. I just think we're down to 9. I don't think we need an 11-man rotation, but if we can get it to 10, that would be good for me. And I also thought there was some shots that Fournier gave up. There were like 1 or 2, if not more times in the game where he was thinking about pulling up and just kind of held back on it. But in a game like that, I would have just took the shot. and maybe he could have, been that spark. But I get it. You're out of the rotation for 21, 22 games. You want to come in. You want to play within the flow. You don't want to try to be a hero. I get it. But I would have liked him to pull up for a few of those shots. The Knicks shot 42.2% from the field. They shot decent from the three-point line, 36.6%, 77.4% from the free throw line, a little better than last night. I didn't break the free throw shooting down by quarters, but really this wasn't a free throw shooting game. This was a defensive game, and the Knicks just did not play good enough perimeter defense. Tibbs talked about it in his presser. Randle talked about it in his presser. The Knicks were not on a string. Now, how much of that is because you got new players starting, you're playing, it's not the usual, where everybody knows where everybody's supposed to be. We've been playing like this with this particular group for a long time. We're on a string. We know what we're supposed to do. Now with Brunson and RJ out, you got new players in the starting lineup. The bench is different. Did that have something to do with them not being on the string defensively? Maybe. But you would think, you know what you're supposed to do. I'm going to chalk it up to just physical and emotional, just not being able to recover enough after the Dallas game for this particular game. Put it behind you, come out strong. All right, let me see. A few other players I want to talk about. Talked about IQ. I talked about Fournier. Talked about Grimes, not his best game. Not expecting consistency, though. Mitchell Robinson, what, 28 minutes? Let me look over here. 3 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block. Not one of his better games. We do a lot of talking, on this show and on other shows about the intangibles that Mitchell Robinson brings to the team. And I'm not denying that. But is it a lot to ask to also, in addition to your intangibles and the things that don't show up on the score sheet, is it a lot to ask to show up on the score sheet as well? That Philly game, that Dallas game, I was like, wow, maybe Mitch has turned the corner. And he still may be. This may just be a blip on the radar. But I just felt like his energy, his aggressiveness, battling, for defensive rebounds, I just thought that it was just a different energy level from him. And it showed on the stat sheet. And today, again, maybe lethargic, maybe the Dallas game took its toll, and one day in between wasn't enough for him to recover. Mitch didn't look the same. Mitch didn't look the same. Now, in order for Mitch to get his points, he has to generate them himself, basically off of offensive rebounds, or the team has to see him, for alley-oops. But I just didn't think Mitch was at his best last night. And trust me, he wasn't the only one. Rose, like somebody said in the beginning, I think it was Tim Smith. Yeah, Rose didn't look the same. Like I said, age, injury, out of form due to inconsistent minutes. I'm not sure what it is. He's not looking good at all. 16 minutes, he was 1 for 5, 0 for 2 from the three-point line, an assist, a turnover. iHeart, 15 minutes, 4 points, 5 rebounds, 1 steal. Shot 50%, from the field. Sims in only 10 minutes, 2 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, one block. Made the most of his minutes. The Knicks are, with those two guys out, Brunson and RJ Barrett, how much better are you than San Antonio? How much better are you than an up-and-coming Houston team? All hands on deck when we play Houston. Like, if you think that you're going to go in and just win, like maybe you thought here, because these are bottom feeders in the Western Conference, you're going to get surprised. Good morning, sis. Appreciate you for joining us. JJ, sounds like excuses. How many games have we won versus team missing their top players and we celebrate it? We got to be fair. I'm not going to make injury excuses. I'm not going to make injury excuses either, but you're not the same team when you don't have two of your three best players. When you go into the game, you know that. So that means your defense has to be on point, because where's your scoring coming from, right? But I agree with you in the sense that don't come into this game thinking that because you're the Knicks and because you're 500 and this team is in 14th place that you automatically have the edge. You don't. Alawez, Mitch had 2 assists. Give him the ball. If you don't involve him, this is what you get. I disagree. That has nothing to do with Mitch on the defensive end. That has nothing to do with Mitch rebounding the ball. Now, if you want to say, that they did a good job keeping him off the board so he couldn't get offensive rebounds and putbacks, I would agree with that. I mean, that's fair, I would say. If you want to say that they weren't looking for him on the alley-oops, they missed some alley-oops, maybe. I didn't really see, a lot of, alley-oop opportunities. But in terms of reboundings and what have, no, this is not what you get. He played much better against Dallas. He played much better against Philly. Again, it's not just Mitch. It's not just Mitch. It's me. Looks like we're missing RJ's production. 0-2 without him. We are missing. We are missing him. Shotgunner, we should have traded Grimes and RJ for Donovan Mitchell and never signed Brunson. Wow, that's a big roster construction. Because now you got Mitchell without Grimes, without RJ, without Brunson. Nah, I'm not too sure about that. White Falcon 44. I'm done with Randle at power forward. He's a small forward. Start Sims at power forward. Mitch needs help. Why? I mean, I'm sure you could play Randle as some small forward, but can he defend that position? I think he's a quintessential power forward. He had 11 rebounds. He scores for you down in the paint. He rebounds for you, down in the paint. Why do you not think he's a power forward? I don't get that one. Keith Turner, the storm is just beginning. This team needs a lot of help. I think they do need some help, but again, they're without 2 of their top 2 players. But I agree with you. I think they do need some help. Quality jumper, keep your heads up, Knicks fans. Storm is almost over because we're getting some reinforcements, or because RJ and Brunson is coming back. Bayside Jr., appreciate you. Agreed, it's a disgrace to not be playing one of Fournier or Cam, especially Fournier, who deserves more respect. Okay. Shotgunner, we didn't need Brunson. I told y'all that it was an inside move. Brunson still to this day hasn't had 15 dimes. Who in the NBA has had 15 dimes? Like, that's the marker that you haven't had 15 dimes? I don't get that point. Brunson has been huge for this team. The Knicks are a 500 team right now. Are we 500 without Brunson? Brunson means that Randle can play a different role on this team. So I'm all in for the Brunson for the Brunson move. Bayside Jr., McBride should not be starting. IQ 5, but Fournier or Cam should be starting with them while the guys are out. But Tibbs gonna Tibbs, and he banishes player forever for inexplicable reasons. I don't know if the reasons are inexplicable, but for long, like situational, right? Situational. And when the situation arises through injuries or heavy minutes or whatever it is, put them back in. Like, that's the part that I don't get. So I do agree with you. Fournier back in the rotation. Fournier or Cam, if not both, back in the rotation at this point. I mean, fine, you want to shorten the rotation for particular reasons. You run in the stats. The team is better defensively with this group, with this rotation. I get it. These are extenuating situations right now, right? One of those guys, Shotgun and Salute Queen, let's go back 5 minutes. I said IQ was a starting point guard in the NBA. I hear you. I still disagree. Keith Turner, I'm not looking forward to seeing RJ play basketball. He could stay put. I think RJ has been playing much better over the past 10 or 12 games. And I think we really miss him. He's finishing better at the rim. He's hitting his catch and shoot threes. I think we definitely miss him. All right, let's talk a little bit about the team stat. Well, we talked about this already. The Knicks were out rebounded 38-48. Usually that's not the case, with the Knicks. So we definitely could have used more help on the boards. Remember, RJ is a really good rebounder. I think he's been averaging about 6 rebounds, over the past 10 to 12 games. And for his career, over 5 rebounds. So we definitely missed that tonight. We could have used a bit more rebounds. We talked about the points in the paint. Part of it, again, RJ being out, Brunson being out, those guys operate in the paint. But giving up 62 points, that's about the perimeter defense, which was just non-existent. And second chance points. The Knicks were doing a better job in keeping opposing teams from converting and getting second chance points. Tonight wasn't the case. Okay, you got 21 of your own, but that's not the point. They got second chance and even third chance points, 22 of them. Actually. Last night they played like they were full of Thanksgiving turkey. Okay. Or Christmas turkey, or getting ready for the new year. I'm not sure what it was, but it just wasn't good. I gave my observations already earlier. I did that first because I just could not I just couldn't contain myself, Again, kudos to Randle and IQ. Grimes and McBride, I'm not sure how much we can expect for them right now. Tibbs, I need you to put Cam and or Fournier back in the rotation. We need those guys. They don't need to be banished forever, All right. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the next game, and then I'll get back into the chat, and then we out of here. The Knicks are now 18-18, and they are now 8th in the Eastern Conference. And we talked about this even when they were at 6, right? That 6 through 12 is going to fluctuate throughout the season. And depending on how the Knicks play, they can end up 6. But if they don't play well, they can end up 11 or 12. If the bottom falls out. I don't expect that. I'm putting my money on the fact that the Knicks will be one of the top 8 teams, and they will be in the playoffs, even if they have to play in. This is a playoff team, in my opinion. But right now, the Knicks are 5-5 over their last 10. They've lost 5. Right? Atlanta has lost 2. Toronto, which is now out of the playoffs. If the playoffs was to end today, they would be out of the playoffs and the play-in. Toronto now lost 2. Washington has won 3. So you just see how 6 through 12 throughout the season is going to keep turning over. That team who can get on a run, that can get their ish together and start playing consistent basketball, that's going to be the teams that finish 6 through 10. Let's see if the Knicks will be one of those teams. Yes, sis. I do believe the Knicks will be in the playoffs. Let me know in the chat. Let me know for those who are listening later. The Knicks won 8 straight. The Knicks lost 5 straight. Do you believe the Knicks will be one of the top 8? Do you believe the Knicks will make the playoffs? Even if they have to play into it, do you believe that they will make the playoffs? Let me know in the chat. Those that's listening later, let me know in the comments. All right. Next game is at Houston Saturday. Knicks are 18-18. 8th in the Eastern Conference, 5-5 over their last 10. They lost 5 straight. They're still offensively the 9th ranked team in the National Basketball Association. Out of 30 teams, the Knicks offense is ranked 9th. Out of 30 teams, the Knicks defense is ranked 11th. Right? And this is a really large sample size. So this happens with teams. 1, 2, 3 games, your defense falters a little bit, but the Knicks have to get back. They got to know who they are. You're a defensive-minded team, right? And you got to get back to that. You can't take quarters off. This is who you are. This is your identity. Houston is 10-25, 15th in the Western Conference, 5-5, just like the Knicks over their last 10. They've lost 2 straight. They're 29th in offense, 28th in defense, and none of it means anything. None of it means anything, because that's just telling you how they've been up to this point. On any given night, a team can be better than you, right? They want to get off their snide. They're a hungry team, and they're at home, right? Let's see. The Knicks, you're down 2, potentially. I don't know if Brunson will be back. I think it's going to be a tough game. I don't think, going in that the Knicks, I wonder what the spread is. I wonder if the Knicks are seen as the favorite. I think it's even. As far as who's going to start for us, it could be Brunson or IQ. If Brunson is not back, IQ is going to start at the 1. McBride will start at the 2. Quentin Grimes, who's undersized, will start at the 3. Eric Gordon is kind of undersized as well, so it may not be much of an issue, but they'll probably put Quentin Grimes. Quentin Grimes usually takes the best perimeter offensive player, right? So they may put him on Jalen Green, who's extremely athletic, and taller than Quentin Grimes, right? So if Brunson is out, it'll be the same starting lineup: Quickly, McBride, Grimes, Randle, Robinson. If Brunson is back, McBride will go back to the bench. Brunson, IQ, Grimes, Randle, Robinson. In any event, Grimes will still be at the small forward. But at any event, he takes the best perimeter player. So it's not like he just matches up with whoever the shooting guard is. He if the best perimeter player is a small forward, he matches up against them. He gives up height, All right, let me check in with the chat. One more time. JJ, Rockets have a lot of young talent. I think we lose that one. Wow. Canal Band Lawyer, appreciate you. We have no small forward in the rotation. That's bad coaching. I mean, you could say that. Or why aren't there any small forwards in the rotation? Maybe, and this is the conclusion that we've come to, for whatever reason, he just doesn't like the way Cam Reddish plays. I disagree. I would like to see Cam Reddish in the rotation. Johnny Davis, it's almost as though we're game planning for our opponent, but we're playing the refs. Our guys are shell-shocked. We got to learn how to play 6 against 5. Yeah, there were some questionable calls. Again, I think the Knicks lost, basically coming out flat, giving a young team confidence, and give them credit. The Knicks in that fourth quarter made multiple runs, and they answered every one. But yeah, I do think that missed call on Grimes, that block was a foul in my opinion. Saying Randle pushed the guy out of bounds, I didn't think so. So yeah. Billy Stein, appreciate you. Hope all is well with you and your family. Props to you, Steph. Appreciate that you consistently give the most level-headed analysis regarding our beloved Knicks. I try. Sometimes I'm strong and wrong. Sometimes I'm strong and wrong, and sometimes I miss things. That's why I try to, listen to what you guys are saying in the chat. Try to, if I can't be on other shows, at least listen to them to see what other content creators are saying, because it helps hone my perspective, a little bit. But I do try to be, level-headed and not get too high when the Knicks was on an 8-game winning streak, not get too low now that they're on a 5-game winning streak. I think you can look at each of the games, and there's different reasons why the Knicks lost. Sometimes you're losing. You're just a bad team. You're not playing defense. It's not going to get any better because you just don't have the players that can play defense. You're losing because you can't score. And you could play as hard as you want. You just don't have scorers on the team. That's not the issue with the Knicks. Every game over these 5-game losing streak, it's been something different. Mainly not being able to close out games. They have to get better with that. But last night, I think, for me, in my opinion, they came out flat, gave up 38 points in that first quarter, was outscored over 3 quarters. Their defense was terrible. And San Antonio got a lot of confidence. So now with the Knicks get themselves together, now they want to play defense and they want to fly around. It's too late now. All right. So where to find me tonight? I'm doing the Just Nicking It show. Me, Tsunami, if she can make it, Stafford Don, Jerrell. The weekly show, we're going to be talking about, all of the storylines as it pertains to the New York Knicks from the last time we had the show. So we'll definitely talk a little bit more about these 3 games. I'm interested in what the panel has to say about it. We'll talk about RJ's, and Brunson's injury. What does that do for the Knicks? And then we'll also talk about the Knicks ceiling, whether the ceiling of this team has changed with the 5-game losing streak. For me, it hasn't. But we'll see what they have to say about that. We'll talk about Grimes coming off of that 33-point, experience. Has your ceiling on him changed? I know initially for me, I thought this was last season after his rookie season. I thought he was a high floor, low ceiling guy. But seeing him this season, seeing him putting the ball on the floor, does he have a higher ceiling, than I thought? We'll talk about that Saturday, the MBK pre-game show. I know Simeon's been busy. The times haven't been consistent. There's something going on with my notifications. I'm not getting the notifications for the show, but try to track it down Saturday. And if there is a pregame show for the Houston game, I would like to be on it. I haven't been on the show in a while. Sunday, will there be a morning recap show? It depends. Sometimes New Year's, I'm in the bed. New Year's comes in while I'm asleep. I'm rested. I'm fresh. I could do the recap show. If it's one of those nights, I probably won't. But I'll let you know. I will keep you posted. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. That definitely helps to support the channel as well. When you go to YouTube, you see the thumbnails for the different shows, right? The more likes you get, the more comments you get, the more engagement there is. What YouTube does is it puts this thumbnail in front of other, other fans, other sports fans, or just people in general. It'll show up in their feed. And that's an opportunity to grow the channel. That's an opportunity to grow the community. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button as well, so we can continue to grow the channel and grow the family. There's other Knicks fans out there, right? We want them to be in here in the room with us. It just helps to get different perspectives. So happy New Year to everybody. Be safe for sure. And hope 2023 is your best year yet. Shout out to It's Me, Pudge Nice, White Falcon 44, Shotgunner, Ally Wise, JJ, of course, Billy Stein, appreciate you, Canal Band Lawyer, Deron Wayne, Johnny Davis, Jay Singh, appreciate you, White Falcon. I may mention some people twice. Wonder Woman, I appreciate you. Dewan Bates Bailey, my sis, I appreciate you as well. Anna Grill 1, I hope I got that right. I appreciate you. Pudge Nice, of course, as always. Kerry Cox in the building, appreciate you. Keith Turner, I appreciate you. Paris Duggar, appreciate you for always showing up. Ashley Inc. 1 on the West Coast. It's about 7 o'clock right now. I appreciate you. Ally Wise, if I haven't said your name already. Quality Jumper. And those who were in the building early, Angel Torres, Tim Smith, Deron Wayne, Cool Cal G. I definitely appreciate you. Sean Kearns was in the building early. I appreciate you as well. Troy Van Tull, I appreciate you. JM 3000, 3 triple O's. I'm not sure. I appreciate you. Andrew K, I appreciate. The dog is hungry. I fed the dog before the show. Len to Len, Knicks will be 2026 NBA champs. I don't know. Is it 2027, 2028 now after the 5-game losing streak? And any event. This is fun. I love rocking with you guys. And we just deal with the ups and downs of the Knicks, but we do it together. I appreciate you. Again, Happy New Year.
Sister, you're one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's her.
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you